Let's see. There we are. Hello.
Hi there.
Hello.
I am obviously not Liz, so I'm going to fix my name here.
There. Now my video's on. I'm trying somewhere quiet in my house. It's just not working very well.
I had to mute in the last session because my cat started getting noisy.
Well, earlier my dog was barking outside, so.
All right. I have got, oops. Yeah.
Natalie?
Yeah, you were
Okay.
freezing up a little bit. I just made you co-host, but I will help you with, like, I'll help double check the chat room and I'll help add people in as they add in for
Okay.
the meeting for you. Okay.
Okay, awesome. That sounds good. I don't have a huge plan for this. I was just sort of hoping it'd be like a discussion and people could help come up with ideas. So.
Sounds good. We have an NAHS group and it's been fun. Oh, it sounds nice outside in your yard.
There's like
I would say
birds and stuff chirping. My cat's next to me. My one cat is over on the chair. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. He's kind of my crazy cat. My neighborhood's usually pretty quiet, which is nice.
All right.
I think I've only used Zoom a couple times.
Let's see.
It always feels a little like voyeuristic, like because you can see into people's houses. So I'm always like looking like, ooh, what art do they have behind them?
I'm in the kitchen. There's not a lot of art, so I've got the Chihuly behind me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We still have a few minutes for actually starting, so.
Yeah.
I may not be able to stay too long. We're having family pictures at 4 and I still need to take a shower from yard work all day. So
Where are you doing family photos at?
They're just gonna be on our front porch.
Oh.
Just a friend's gonna come take some pictures, so
Nice.
yeah. So have you guys started your chapter meetings yet?
Kind of. We had a meeting last week, sort of. Just we met out at Shawnee Lake
Yeah.
and just did sketching. I only had 4 students show up and then 1 parent.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I thought like we could start the discussion today, like just kind of seeing where everybody's from and like where your school is and what you're doing if you're hybrid or totally remote or kind of there. So Catherine, you're on this screen. So where are you at?
I'm at Olathe North High School in Olathe, Kansas. And I haven't really done too much with them yet because we've been all remote. And I'm kind of asking my, my senior, more seasoned students what they would suggest since this is so different. We usually do quite a bit of work within the community, so it's definitely a mind shift as far as how we can accommodate that and be safe and still have parents and school supporting that. So
Yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing also. So I'm Teresa Shetler Logan, and I'm at Washburn Rural High School, which is in Topeka. We have 2,000 students at our school. We have about 900 that take art. Right now we're hybrid. So we have A through M's on Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesdays like intervention in the morning and then cleaning. So Wednesdays we have maybe 300 students in the building, and it's kind of random as to like who's going to be there and who's going to be in your classroom. Like we don't even know until like that day, which is a little weird. And then Thursday, Friday, we have the L through Z kids. So with NAHS, I think I've done NAHS for maybe like 8 years now. I don't know. I've kind of lost track. And I have a really good senior who's the president that's very into it and helping, which has come in super handy. And so she's been trying to come up with ideas too. And then last week we kind of started just by meeting it at a park outside where we knew there would be shade. We knew, I mean, it's been beautiful weather, and we sketched. We all sat like 6-10 feet away from each other. We only had about 4 kids show up and 1 parent. After that, I had 2 other kids say they were interested. But last year we had like 15 to 20. And since our school's so big and we don't have an advisory class and like we're not making announcements, I'm trying to find ways to get a hold of those students because I don't have their contacts if they're not in my class, and most of them aren't. So that's one of the issues. Some of the other stuff we've been doing is Savannah College of Art and Design has a lot of free programming. And let's see, I can try sharing my screen. I don't know, I haven't done this before. Desktop. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen and I'll show. I put up, let me move this. Okay, so yeah, there's Savannah College of Art and Design. And I work with Laura Langston. She's like one of the coordinators there. And we did a SCAD fashion. No, I don't think I have it up on one of my tabs. But it was in the evening, and I posted it on all of my Google Classrooms and on my NAHS classroom. And I had told kids, I said, message me if you're gonna go, and I put the link as to how they would get to the Zoom meeting and how to register. And I had 2 kids watch it. I thought, well, I guess that was okay. At least I had 2 kids show up. It was like at 7 at night, because sometimes SCAD has done stuff in the evening, especially this year. So SCAD's a really good source. I have a virtual tour of my classes in November, and then I'm going to ask them if they can do a virtual tour for our NAHS group in the evening. Last year and in previous years before COVID, we had club time during the week. And so we could actually meet every other week for a half an hour on Thursdays. But with COVID, we don't have that now. So everything we have to do is remote and online. I get a lot of emails from different art schools. So like Micah has some good programming. I was thinking of reaching out to them to see if they would want to do like a virtual tour and share with the students, and then students could ask them questions and try and set it up in the evening, which means, you know, then I'm doing it in the evening also, but that's okay. Let's see. So those are some ideas. And we've had, I guess 2 people's mild success for the first SCAD thing. How do I get back to where I am? Oh, there I am. Stop sharing. Okay. I was like, so that's kind of what we're trying to do. I'm also connecting with other artist friends that I have. Like I have a friend who lives in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. She does really cool artwork. I asked her if she would want to come and do a little Zoom meeting with us and show the kids what her artwork is. And then I have a friend in Philadelphia who works at Moore College of Art and Design in the museum shop, or in the student shop. I asked her if she would want to meet and tell kids like what she does. And then I have another friend in Arizona, same thing. So I've just been reaching out to all my artist friends and saying, hey, would you want to meet with my students in the evening and tell them what you do and tell them, you know, how you're making a living as an artist? My friend in Arizona said, well, she's not making a living as an artist anymore. So, but she said she'd share her art. And I mean, and that might be a good lesson too, to talk about, you know, what were you doing? What happened? What are you doing now? And what do you want to do later? Because that's real life. You know, things are going to change, obviously, like all this. And then I was thinking of doing an Instagram account for NAHS, and like that might be a way for the students to connect and look and see what each other's doing. Because since we're hybrid, they don't even see each other anymore. So it's felt kind of disconnected, and it's felt like a fair amount of work trying to figure out how to keep things going. But I kind of thought we could just use this time to talk about what each other's doing, where we are, and what kind of schools we're at. So did anyone else want to share like where they're at and what kind of school they're teaching at and how you're teaching?
Go ahead, Natalie.
So Deanna, where are you at?
I am in Nickerson, South Hutch.
Oh, okay.
So our district is Nickerson, South Hutch. And pardon me, we are currently remote, fully remote, with the exception of kids with IEPs or kids with no internet connection, or if they need special hands-on help with, you know, they need to come in and get more supplies, or if they need to come in and need special help getting something working in their artwork, then they can make an appointment in an afternoon and come in. But basically on block schedule. Well, it's kind of a modified block. We see everybody on Mondays, and then on Tuesday through Thursday, we have them in the mornings on block, and then in the afternoons is scheduled time. They schedule time to come in and work hands-on.
How are you getting?
I do not know anything about National Art Honor Society at all. I'm fairly new to Nickerson, and I saw that this topic was up, and so I thought I'd just come check it out.
Oh, cool. Yeah. National Honor Society is very similar to National Honor. So, oh wait, I just said National Art Honor Society is very similar to National Honor Society. So typically you have to do some community service or volunteer hours. The kids vote on their bylaws, like what the GPA is going to be and how many meetings they have to go to or attend. I haven't really worked out how we're going to quite do that this year. The kids also vote on who the officers are going to be, like who's going to be president and vice president, treasurer, secretary. What's our other one? I think we added a PR person last year. But since we've only met once in a park so far, we haven't, and we only had 4 kids show up. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna contact all the other ones and how we're gonna vote. It might just be have something where we do a Google form. We do have a Google Classroom set up for them. And so that's how I can contact them through school. But since we're hybrid, you know, they're in school 2 days a week, but then they're getting tons of emails, tons of stuff from Google Classroom. I think they're just overloaded with emails. So they may not even see what I'm sending them. So that's kind of where we're at a little bit right now. But it's a nice organization. They have chances at scholarships, great website, lots of information. And you can just type in National Art Honor Society and it'll pop up the website for you. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
We started my chapter at my current school about 15 years ago, and we had to have board approval to get it as an organization. But we set up an art GPA, an overall GPA for entry into it. We do have service hours, and that's something we've been talking about because traditionally in the past, our group did a lot of face painting at like different events. Sometimes they were art events, but a lot of times it was at the football games, which of course we can't face paint right now with restrictions. So we've got some side project ideas that we're looking at. One we're thinking we may do, we've gotten before for in the fall, the Wichita Woodworkers Guild creates toys and then they ask different groups to paint them. So we're going to see if we could get those, and so the kids could document their hours painting toys so they could each pick up a couple, and that's an idea that we have. We're looking at doing like maybe an online where if the kids plan out like a paint along session or like a craft where they create like a video craft that we could share. We're just trying to figure out because those service hours are the biggest thing that we're not sure how we're going about doing.
I like that online craft painting idea. That's good. Yeah, because we used to do a lot of face painting also at the football games. Can't do that now. We used to do a lot of murals. And last year we had started on one, but then that got shut down. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. I had kind of thought even maybe have the kids create like greeting cards or thank you cards or like get well cards and then send them to first responders or to people in the hospital. I thought that would be kind of fun. And that's something the kids could do individually. So I'm writing down your online craft idea.
I just did a thing with the kids where they have a pumpkin painting auction for charity. And we usually go and pick up the pumpkins and paint them in our classroom. And I just had the kids go pick up their own pumpkin, decorate it, and drop it off. And then they could count that time for their hours. So it's one thing. And last spring, I had a couple of sessions where visiting artists came to Zoom and did activities with them, and that included like making your own sketchbook, and one was a cut paper artist and she did a little thing with them. But having them do a little online lesson with another school in the district, like an elementary class or something like that, would be a really good thing. We're also hybrid, and our principal won't, or the district doesn't want them to mix cohorts. You know, they're A through K or L through Z, and so they can't all come to the building on the same day. And but I do have a Canvas course that I made for them. We use Canvas instead of Google Classroom, and so I'm posting announcements in there right now. But we're still trying to figure out how we're gonna carry on. So I was really looking forward to hearing what you guys are doing.
So Sheila, what school are you at?
DeSoto High School.
Okay. And so you're also hybrid. Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe we can help each other.
Yeah.
Hi guys. I'm
So
kind of crashing your meeting because I'm at Johnson County Community College. I'm at the Nerman Museum of Contemporary Art, and we have last year we had a student advisory committee form, and we include high school students as well as our college students as well as university students. So we kind of left it broad like that so we could get people at all levels. And we were also a service organization. Our big project last year was a big family day that we put on that we can't do right now because our building is closed and they don't want people coming to campus, except for the students who are using the equipment for art classes and tech classes. So basically what we have done, and it's all new people this year because the people, that's the nature of community college, is 2 years, they're gone. And, you know, as far as what we can do service-wise, we basically went in a circle of discussion and said, okay, actually, we're not going to do any service this semester. We're going to focus on having meetings where we're having fun together and learning about the collection. So I'm putting up detailed images of artwork in our collection, and then we're all sketching and elaborating, and then I show the full picture, and then we're talking about the art and learning about the art and just having that kind of casual time together. But we have, you know, dozens of chapters, you know, within 20 minutes of our location. And usually I reach out to the chapter sponsors and say, hey, we have events coming up. We want to work with your club. And we don't have any events coming up. So I'm trying to think about how can I network with clubs. And I mean, we'd like to plan for some family programs in the spring. So it's just a matter of
I think she froze.
possibilities. So, and also museum people can come to your club meetings on Zoom, and all the museums in Kansas, the art museums that are affiliated with colleges and universities, are closed. So some of us need to find things to do that we can do remotely. Since I'm not hosting tours and classes, I have to reach out virtually while I'm working at home. And as a museum professional, I would love to visit clubs and talk about museum work. So there's an idea, just throwing it out there.
Is your art museum open at all there at the Nerman?
No, they don't want us on campus at all. They want to reduce foot traffic. And I was really bummed out because in March, I was like, at least we have the outdoor sculpture, right? Can we use the outdoor sculpture? No, they don't want us on campus. So possibly in the spring, we can do outdoor sculpture tours. But right now it's like very minimal. Even us going into the building is minimal.
Do you have your collection digital? I mean, do you have a digital tours, virtual tours?
Not all of it. There's a ton of stuff that's pictured on our website that I've never seen in person. And it's not, you know, we have 2,000 artworks, but less than 500 online. But I've posted things on my blog site for a virtual tour for younger children with the outdoor sculpture in mind. But again, it's like my whole philosophy is see the art in person. But I understand the whole whet the appetite, and then people can come see it on their own eventually. Maybe.
One idea that I looked up just this week was, and this is on the virtualinstructor.com. He has a list of remote activities, and one of them is an art scavenger hunt, where you send the kids to pick out some artworks, and the kids have to find them where they are, you know, what museum they're in, and the idea is that they're from art museums that have virtual tours. Like,
Yeah, and I
so
want to
that's actually
emphasize.
to go into the room virtually and find the painting what room it's in.
Yeah. So I wanted to emphasize the fact that, again, like we have museums in Kansas that are really hurting, and there are a lot of people who, are looking for ways to stay relevant and to help people. And in a way, it's awesome that so many people are looking at the Met and the Van Gogh Museum and all these big museums that can do really amazing things virtually. But,
Right.
again, thinking about these are our local places that you could take a field trip next year.
Right.
And so trying to let them keep those local connections. There's a group called the Heartland Learning Collaborative that started a few months ago that's primarily history museums in Kansas and Missouri, and there's a virtual museum day that's on YouTube that you can watch that we did at the end of May, and kind of see what different museums are offering. But it's so hard right now to think about, we have to still reach people. We don't have, permission to go on campus and do any more video footage right now. So there's
Mhm.
nothing that we can really, we're trying to get some of our artist talks published because we have about 30 of them on our YouTube page. But other things that museums kind of struggle with in terms of working with schools and these, scavenger hunt type things is not all the artwork on the website is appropriate for kids.
Yeah.
So, like
That's
just recently I saw, I think it was the Multicultural Art Education group on Facebook, and they're saying, hey, I want to make sure our kids are looking at Latino artwork. And does anyone have a website you can go to where it's all appropriate for kids? And it's like, well, most museums have nude sculpture or violent artworks or artworks with, obscenities in the titles. So it's not really designed. It's, designed to show the museum's collection, but parents don't always know that that includes nudity and questionable stuff. So we're one of the more tame museums as far as what we put online because we're publicly funded. So I was like, look at my website for Latino art.
It's
There's
so
nothing-
beautiful. I love
Yeah.
the architecture and of that building.
Yeah, the Nerman's a great museum. I've loved going there personally, and I've taken a few students there. We've always had a wonderful time. What's a good way to get a hold of you if we want to set up like a Zoom meet?
It's on our website, the tour scheduling form. We just put a line instead of, we put a guided tour 2021, self-guided tour 2021, have a museum educator visit me. So that's what we can do now online.
All right. And is it something that would be available like after school times, like at 4 or even 7 in the evening?
Yeah. Currently, me and my coworker are handling requests, and she usually works from 2 to 7.
Oh, okay.
Since she's got her kids home with her. As you saw, I do too. I've got my first grader, my fourth grader here every day. Until next week, I'm sending them back hybrid.
Yeah, my 2-year-old walked through earlier too. So
How has that adjusted your schedule with the museum being closed? Have you just basically backed everything up a year, or is it just totally?
Oh, we don't plan that far in advance. So we really didn't have much to cancel. My director likes to plan exhibitions for 2 months from now.
Okay.
So, and he's getting ready to retire, so that's exciting. I'll have a new director and curator next spring.
Is that Bruce or?
Yep. He's been there 30 years.
Wow.
I have a weird question for you, Karen, just because I'm curious. We had at the Wisha Art Museum, they had the Preston Singletary exhibit, and I was really disappointed that there wasn't a virtual tour of it, but we are allowed to photograph it. And so one of the things I did the last week it was there is like, this was so cool, and my kids didn't get to go see it, and we were gonna go see it. Oops, sorry, I froze. But so we were gonna go see it. So if I've documented the exhibit, I was going to do like a virtual walkthrough as a PowerPoint. Would you just kind of discuss, is that okay for me to do and share with my students? Is that,
I would, let's see, I would probably talk to the museum educator there. Preston Singletary is a really cool guy. So I imagine that he would say, okay. But technically it's organized by, I think, the Museum of Glass, maybe in Washington State. So they might have an issue, but the show's open till January. So I took my family to go see it in August because I was like, it's closing and I have to go see the show. So we made a weekend of it. And yeah, so it's open till January. I don't know.
extended to
That
January?
kids be
Yes.
taken in, right?
As soon as I got my rental car paid for, I was like, oh, because both of our cars were in the shop. And I was like, I have to see this before it closes. And I was like, oh, they just extended it till January. How
I'm like
nice.
4 times. So
Yeah.
So where,
I
where,
bought the catalog. It's great.
where is it?
Yeah.
Wichita Art Museum.
Okay.
And it's open? Wichita Art Museum's open?
Yeah.
Yes, they are, and it's absolutely amazing. It's interactive, so it has sound with it and lighting, and it's just so really cool. So I did it 2 ways. I've got a video of just like slowly walking through, so you can hear at least some of the. I went like I had to go. I went like the minute it opened on a Sunday. So I was the first one in there. So I could kind of like slowly walk through, and you could kind of just hear some of the sounds because I wanted my kids to experience a little bit of that. But like I said, I don't want to step on toes either, but I just really want my kids to be able to see it because we obviously can't take a field trip to it. I have art appreciation and we are required to do, I mean, we're supposed to go observe art. So we've been doing some virtual tours. WSU has a sculpture tour you can do online, but the other place that we usually go is Wichita Art Museum for nearby. So
They have a great sculpture collection.
and it's all accessible. There's online tours you can do. So
I didn't
that's
know that.
cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I haven't looked at that one yet. I like the idea of the online tours. That would be fun. Because I also teach IB art, and we're supposed to go to museums and go to art galleries, and we're not allowed to do that with our school district. But so far as I know, IB still wants us to do that. So I'm thinking online will be maybe the best way. I don't know. So how are you guys getting in touch with your NAHS students? Like, I guess that would be for like Sheila and Natalie.
Our school is both in person and remote, and I sent out an email or like a alert through our system. So I sent out to any students enrolled in my classes. I asked the other teachers to also share that with their art students. And then we had an actual meeting because we can meet in person. And so we had a very small group that showed up for the meeting. We have our next one Monday after school. We'll see. But while I was doing that one, I had some kids that were quarantined, so they requested a Zoom link. So we did Zoom as the other kids were there and talked in with the couple of kids that were out. But that was how I kind of sent the announcement out. Usually we just announce in class, so I'm telling kids, and it's posted up on my board that kids are welcome to go. But
Yeah, that's usually how I do it. I like just put it on the board, and then I would also send it out through Google Classroom. But now that we're hybrid, half and half, and same as I think what Deanna said, they don't want our groups mixing. The A's and B's aren't supposed to mix.
Not during school hours, but yeah, we have, I have Canvas and I have them all enrolled in that class in Canvas. And so when I post an announcement, they get an email with it. But I also have the president and the vice president currently are in the school at the same time. And they have a GroupMe app, so they've got all the kids in GroupMe, so they message each other. And I've also been meeting in the spring. We were meeting in Zoom. We haven't actually met in Zoom yet this year because it's more complicated than it was in the spring when they were all out,
Yeah, because now that it's half and half, it's like, okay, how do I schedule this? Which is why I kept.
Yeah. I taught online for 9 years. And so I spent like a lot of time in the beginning of this year helping other teachers, the learning curve for getting your courses online is pretty steep. And I've been doing it for a decade. So it doesn't take me as much time. So I spent a lot of time helping other teachers this semester. And so I didn't get to any National Art Honor Society right off the bat. I kind of put it off for a few weeks, and so we're just haven't met in Zoom yet, but
Yeah, I felt bad last semester when we went to quarantine and we weren't in school at all. I didn't really contact my NAHS kids because it was so time consuming trying to get all the other stuff done. I think I sent like a message once and that was about it. So we do have a group meet also. Part of my issue is a lot of my leaders, except for the one that's president now, graduated.
oh,
So like half of my students have left. And so I only have one, but maybe she can get phone numbers and get the other kids in the group me. So I might just have to ask her and say, all right, can you?
they're pretty
Find
good at
them.
that. They're pretty good at rounding and herding each other.
Yeah.
I was going to say something that worked really good. We've had for the last couple of years, one of our officers, usually the secretary, is in charge of setting up a Remind, which is a texting service. And so then when we have a meeting, they send out reminds. And that's because honestly, you will have an announcement at lunch. You send out an email and the kids are still like, there's posters on the wall and they're still like, oh, I didn't remember how a meeting today. But if they send the text out, like I have them do it like after lunch that day, right before the meeting. And then they're like, oh yeah.
That's
That's a
okay.
really good idea.
I haven't used that Remind app before, but I'll have to get that because yeah, like
Easy.
I send them emails and I put up posters and they're still like, oh, I didn't see it. But the Remind might work.
I like the idea of creating a classroom. I forget that you can create, like, besides what the district has set up, I can create my own classroom in Canvas, and I just forget
Right.
that's an option. So that was a good suggestion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I use Remind in my other classes, and I didn't set up a Remind for my NAHS. So thank you.
Hey, I just want to say, y'all, we have to forgive ourselves, you know, because I felt like in the spring we had a really good plan for our student advisory committee. We had a great program in February. We're going to repeat the same kind of format in March and April. And, you know, I mean, everybody went into survival mode, and I think they understand that. I think the students understand that. You know, and I had a graduating student office aide, and I was in touch regularly with her, so she still had like office hours so she could get paid. But that was her primary role, was working with the student group. And, you know, and it's just like having my own kids at home, and it was just like, I can't do this. I just reached a point. So I'm just now, after 7 months, I'm just now starting to feel good about getting back on track, and the students aren't ready yet. So so I just gotta forgive ourselves. And, you know, I think it's one of those things that it's like everyone was in survival mode.
I felt really good about the fact that I did actually get honor cords ordered and managed to get them distributed to like the 4 kids that were graduating. I was like, that was all we did for NAHS between March and May was like, I got the cords and my seniors got them.
cool. That's good.
They want those. They do. They want them. That's good.
Rainbow cord.
Hey, Natalie and Sheila, for the honor cords, what does your school have you do to get those? Because our school wants us to match the NAHS, and they've upped their cumulative GPA, I think, to 3.85. And so for our kids to get an honor cord, they have to have 3.85 cumulative overall.
Like I said, we set up our own, which was approved by the board, which was a 3.5 for art and 2.75 overall. And I guess I had not checked to see that they changed at the national level. So that was, so that's what we've been using. And as long as they finish their hours, their community service hours. But of course, this last year we exempted if they had completed a section of them. We called it good.
And
Yeah.
ours,
Yeah.
it's our principal. So it's our principal that says the only way their cords is if they follow National Honor Society. He doesn't even care about the NAHS goals. So
we have at our school, kids can have their honor cords, but the only ones that they get to wear across the stage supposedly are just the ones given by, like, for the overall honor cord at the school. Because there was a big issue of that, because kids were wearing all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
So they can have their honor cords, they can wear them at the ceremony, but they're supposed to only wear across the stage certain ones. But honestly, nobody really patrols it. What happened was we were putting it in the announcement, and that was the problem, like the brochure at graduation, and there was issues there where, like, they have to do that like a month before the graduation ceremony. So we weren't getting names in time. And then you'd have kids that go and say, I should have gotten the honor cords, but my name wasn't marked. I didn't have the thing in the, and that's where we had the whole issue. So they just said, these are the only ones we're going to list in the brochure are these particular cords. And yeah, so that was where that whole argument came from with, like, the principals and stuff, was just like, they were getting irritated that they had all these parents irritated. They didn't have the asterisk or the plus sign or whatever in the brochure.
Because we had our president, well, vice president last year, who's president now, she really wants to wear the honor cord. And so she went to the principal and asked, what do we have to do that we can wear it? And he said, well, at our school, for you to wear it, you have to match any NHS, National Honor Society, whatever our teacher does there. And, like, that was the only way he would allow it, which was a little frustrating. Because sometimes
Sorry, they're two separate things.
We're not even allowed to, our students aren't allowed to even wear them.
really,
It's,
Right.
it's,
They don't want them to wear them, and you know, the kids want to wear them. I just give it to them, and I'm like, well, you know, it's like you said, Natalie, it's probably just easier, you know, less confusion, but it is upsetting to the kids.
yeah.
They
Well,
do
and
the work, they do all that work,
yeah, they want to show off what they've done. So,
right?
Well, and that's part of the reason why you have NAHS as opposed to NHS. It's different criteria. It's kids that maybe are not as strong in their academic classes, but they're strong in their art classes,
Exactly.
That's true.
and they've earned them. And so it should be a different distinction. So I agree with that. The other thing we ran into is I ran into problems that if I had kids that were in HS and NAHS, that they started to throw a big hissy fit if they were trying to use the same hours for both groups. So I had to make it very clear that our hours had to be separate. You could not have recorded them for NHS. It had to be our own activities. and
Right.
Use them for both groups.
yeah, we do different hours. So, like, if they're in NHS and NAHS, they had to do separate volunteer hours. So, yeah, it's just, I think our principal doesn't agree that art can be different. He wants them all to follow exactly the same. So we have some clashes. But, sorry, my husband is, like, putting dishes away, so now it's getting noisy again.
That would have been perfect for the sounds of the Nick Cave workshop I went to this afternoon.
Oh my.
We saw it. This was through the Smithsonian Early Enrichment. It just happened to fall on the same day as today. But we were looking at a sound suit that had a bunch of old tops and toys. And I was like, I bet that sounds like someone putting away dishes.
Has anybody been to the Momentary?
Ah,
There's a big Nick Cave exhibition
oh,
installation.
it just opened, right?
Yeah, I haven't
Oh.
been, but
Yeah, I'm totally planning on going.
yeah,
I
I want to go see it.
Instagram. So I thought it looked really cool. And I was showing it to some students. I was like, look at this. So
It's just like the Preston Singletary. I thought I was never going to get to see it. And then here it comes. It's 3 hours away. I can do that.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, Karen, I'm looking forward to, you know, seeing what, having you guys open back up.
Yeah. Well, and basically as soon as I'm allowed to tell people they can come look at the outdoor sculpture, that's always been my thing. It's like, that's not going to pose a danger to anybody if small groups come out wearing masks looking at the outdoor sculpture. But the
Right.
campus administrators are like, yeah, but then those people are going to go inside and use the restrooms and spread their germs everywhere inside the restrooms. You know,
You have
it's
my
just like,
email. You have my email, so you'd let us know when you're open back up, or when
absolutely.
even when you're just if they're ready to let you do that, because we're like as hungry as everyone else to just start doing some
Yeah.
stuff.
When I saw the Mulvane opened, So I'm wanting to get in touch with those educators and ask them how things are going, because you know, we were told that under very certain circumstances we can open by appointment for our college groups, but there are very few college groups in person since most of them are teaching online. And we do have, on Thursday next week, there's an English class that's coming through with 5 people that I will lead a tour for 5 people. But it was a big deal to get permission to do that. And I know like WashU in St. Louis, they said they're closed to the general public, but they are open for their university students. But we're not a university. I mean, like, we don't have PhD art history students who need access for research to the museum. I mean, we have English 101 students who want to see the art museum to write descriptive papers. So it's just apples and oranges. And Kemper's reopening, the Nelson reopened last month.
What about the Spencer? Is it open?
I think they're closed still. I think they're closed too, but it's like anyone who's affiliated with a university or college, we have to go with what the college is telling us we can do. So it's a little limited, but Washburn, apparently it's okay for the Mulvane to open, so.
The Spencer has a lot of stuff online, so
Mhm.
that's something good to look
Oh
at.
yeah, they've been spending the past 15 years on digitizing their collection and putting things online. So they have a whole team of people that have been working on that. So they're good.
And
You know, I helped work on that mural in Noto when Isaiah Zagar was there a couple years ago. That he's from Magic Gardens in Philadelphia. He's a does the mosaic art on buildings. He did this whole building inside. Now I don't know if you know Magic Gardens, but he was there, and we did a couple of buildings, and then some of the artists in the area just continued some of those murals, and there's a lot of really good murals in Topeka. That might be a fun field trip, you know, maybe have kids go find the murals in their community and do a scavenger hunt like that or something. I don't know. I'm just starting to
yeah,
play
they
around.
could, and then they could post pictures that they find at the mural, put where they
Yeah.
found it, like
You
on.
know, I did an interactive map project where you can go into Google Maps and you can create a pin, right?
Mhm.
Where they could find a mural and then pin it in a map so other people could go just click on that pin and have the get the directions to that spot. And they'd all be on the same map. You can create your own interactive map project and send one link out to kids. I can send it to you guys if you want. It's really
Yeah.
pretty neat.
You might do something like that because you've got a lot of murals in Wichita. That would be cool to do for like the fall conference next year, to have like a free time scavenger hunt to try and find some of the different murals around the city. So,
Yeah. I took kids on a tour of Topeka murals last summer. Our art club did that a couple summers ago, actually. It was fun.
See, our NAHS group had scheduled a field trip to go up to Kansas City to like the Nelson Atkins and several and go see the museums there and like the Nerman and stuff. And of course that,
Darn.
you were sad.
Has anyone used Padlet, the website?
Yeah.
Yeah. I use Padlet for IB and for some different art classes, and I was just thinking that might be a fun place for NAHS kids to post pictures of their artwork, and then they could comment. And if they did like the scavenger hunt of murals, they could go around their neighborhood or their area, post pictures of murals and put where it was, and then they could talk to each other sort of through the Padlet. That might be kind of.
In this interactive map thing, you can actually add pictures and you can type in text on the pin. When you open up the pin, it opens up a little chat thing and you can put pictures in it and type in information about the mural, or whatever it is you're pinning. And that's really cool. But I've also used Wakelet. And another thing I did with my NAHS last spring was I had them do Flipgrid videos where it's really easy. You just create a link and send it to them, and they go on and they make a video and talk about what a project that they did or a painting that they did, or some way for them to see each other talking. It's not directly interactive, but
How did they share the videos after they made them?
they're posted in the Flipgrid.
Oh, okay. I have
Yeah,
not used that yet.
it's
It's
not,
really easy.
yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't terrible, and you can have like, you need to comment on a couple different, like you can do that as an assignment. Say I want you to comment on at least 2 or 3 people's videos, and you can choose to review the video before it posts publicly, so you can go and see.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
And they can add little emojis on themselves and stuff.
Very cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I had a kid that didn't want to post his face on the Flipgrid web page, so he covered it with a big.
There's like a digitized filter in Flipgrid too, so you can't really see them. It's like
Mhm.
rigged out or whatever. So.
Cool. That sounds good. I think we've come up with a lot of different ideas, so it's just a matter of actually getting connected to the students.
Right.
Mhm.
And I have to say, 2 students, take it. That sounds great.
Or show
Better
up.
than 0.
Yeah, that's true.
If you had 1, it might be awkward.
Yeah,
If
because I
you
had
had 0, you'd feel bad about yourself. But 2, that could mean the world to those 2
Yeah.
people.
well, and I guess I had 2 at the SCAD thing, and then I had 4 show up for sketching in the park, so that doubled. So
Yeah,
maybe next time I'll have
200% increase.
yeah. Yeah.
We have
That's
several art teachers, and so our first meeting we had like a couple weeks ago, we had as many teachers as we had students. So
They get a lot of attention that way. That's good.
That's funny. How many NAHS kids, Natalie and Sheila, whatever, Sheila,
I have 12.
12. Oh, okay, cool.
I have had a range anywhere from, and that's the deal. We had a lot graduate last year, so it's trying to figure out who's going to be our core leadership group for this year. But usually our average size is around maybe they're active around 10, and we have 2,000 at the school, but there's probably about 10 that actually maybe are active. Maybe we have a few come in for more, or, maybe we only have 5 at meetings, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. We had, last year in fall, we had a lot show up to meetings. I would have like 25 in my room, but then like probably active was about, I would say about 15, but then more than half of them graduated. So that's been the hard thing.
Yeah. It is hard
Some years we've only had like 6.
bringing
Some-
up the youngins.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta find a freshman somehow because I don't teach freshman classes, so I don't.
That's why I take high school students. So maybe they'll be college students next year. And I don't know if middle school students, if you want to start young.
Well, they do have a middle school chapter, so
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll have to talk to Mindy Armstrong. She's in my district and be like, hey,
Plant the seeds.
maybe you want to start a middle school chapter. So
Mhm.
I'll throw out something that we do, because we kind of made a decision to either we don't have an art club and an NAHS. So NAHS is our main outside of class group. One of the things that we did, which I don't know if there's any bylaws that prohibit it or what, but we decided, because we have kids that want to do the NAHS activities, but their GPA is too low. So we told them that we created associate members, and so they can participate in all of our activities, but they won't be inducted as an official member with like a card and like honor cords until they meet the GPA requirements. So that sometimes for some of those kids gives them a little bump to really try and push their grades up. So that way, by the time their senior year, if they've gotten up, they can get honor cords. But it allows some of those kids to participate.
Yeah, I have art club too with sort of the same thing.
Yeah, we just decided we couldn't do both as sponsors. We were like, it was too much to try and have art club meet, and then it was just a lot of groups to try and coordinate.
Right. I'm doing it pretty much the same way you are, where they come at the same time and then they're unofficial.
that's what we started last year, which is how we got the numbers up last year, is we just combined it together. So yeah, I don't know if that violates bylaws, but I was like, well, it works, and then they get to participate. So
Has
I
anybody,
really like that silk painting workshop. I took the KAEA silk painting thing this summer. It was awesome, and I ended up buying some silk. I want to do that with the kids when they get back together. It was a really great workshop.
is there, what was it? I don't know where I was going. I was just gonna ask. I lost it. Old person, it's okay. They'll come back.
we all do that. So that happens to me a lot. Well, cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know what I was gonna ask. Has anybody read, because if you read the guidelines for the national from like, because it's through it's through NAEA, right? But if you
Yeah.
read it, you as a sponsor, first of all, have to make sure you keep your membership paid.
Yeah.
You have to have an active sponsor that's an active member. But the other thing is according to the bylaws, you're not supposed to get paid because it is a service organization. So you're not supposed to be paid a stipend if you're the supervisor for it. So that's one thing. I don't know if anybody else picked that up.
Yeah, I did not pick that up. I actually just started getting a stipend for it last year because we put in so much extra time. And I'd skimmed the bylaws, but I missed that part. So
Yeah, if you
Can you
read
get
it,
paid for art club simultaneously?
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I paid for art club. So yeah. Mhm.
that's kind of the direction you have to go, is like see if they'll pay you a stipend for art club. But like, I don't know. It's kind of the same thing. There's some issues. If you're on the board for KAEA, you cannot be nominated for a national award. So if you are currently on the state board, you can't win a national award. So there's just some weird NAE stuff that kind of.
Well, and that's interesting too, because our NHS person, he gets paid a stipend, whoever runs that. And I would assume that NHS would probably have similar bylaws that they, because that'd be kind of weird if they were different, but I just won't say anything about it.
I would, yeah, don't say anything about it.
I don't get any money because it's not very much anyway. So
Don't read it closely enough.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that
Must
was
have missed that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, cool. We only have like a little bit of time left. I think this went pretty well. I think we all got some ideas. We made some contacts. We can contact Karen for some virtual Nearman tours, which will be awesome. So I'll be sending you an email for that soon.
Yes, and it's free.
Yeah. That's yeah.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
We give everything away.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So that's kind of.
What's free? Sorry.
Museum tours,
Oh yeah.
especially
Okay.
virtual ones. I don't know. There might be some places that still
Definitely.
charge some sort of admission online, but
Yep.
I'm gonna think if you actually could get into like the Louvre or something, and I paid like to be able to share a screen with my kids, it might actually be worth it to do something like that. I don't know if you're like talking big
You know,
music.
the Getty Museum used to do, and I don't know if they still do it, on Tuesdays they do a Periscope where somebody in the museum would go into a certain gallery and they'd broadcast. And you have to sign up through Twitter. It's linked to Twitter, and then people could join your account. You have to follow them, and they have to follow you to be able to do it. And I just thought, I love the idea. And I went to several. I actually went to a couple of parties at LACMA that were on Periscope. and I just thought it was so cool that museums were doing this. Periscope is like you're there, kind of. But
Sounds like the animal webcams at the zoos, kind of a little bit.
but the guy would talk to you, and you could like type in questions, and so so you interact with the person, and they say, "Oh, hi, Sheila," when you, because your name comes up when you like, just like when you do live Facebook Live or something like that, you can enter in stuff, but something like that. It's kind of like Facebook Live.
Sometimes on Instagram, like it was back in March or April or something, Visa Butler, she had an Instagram live where she talked about her art, and you could like type in questions. And like,
Mhm.
that was really fun. None of my students showed up to it, but I like told them about it. And then I told them about it afterward. And I was like, I typed a question and she answered it. I was like total like girl crushing on her. So yeah, I like her work. So Instagram sometimes has cool stuff like that with different artists that are on there.
I had some artists come to do a Zoom with my students last spring, and a bunch of kids came to
Cool.
it. A bunch of the kids came, so
Nice.
fun.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah. Well, I know. I think there's only like 5 minutes left, so I think that's kind of about it.
I just want to,
I think all the next sessions are pre-recorded, so
Very cool.
have fun. I've been just kind of watching them. I'm a clay person, but I'll tell you the Amico one. The person speaking was not great, but if you actually followed her and went to the Amico website and started looking at, there were I mean I have tons of lesson plans, but there were still some things like, ooh, I hadn't thought of that. That's kind of
Yeah, I actually listened to that one, and I did while she was talking. I went to the Amico website, and then I immediately like copied links and pasted it to my IB Google Classroom because we're going to do a rapid fire of Japanese tea bowls,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
so I,
cool.
like coil pots and pinch pots and all the terms. I was like, check this out. So I thought that one was really good, and I loved the anti-racist art teacher that
awesome.
Alyssa did.
That was, yeah.
I think I already.
The watercolor hacks was good too.
Mhm. Yeah, they're
Putting little watercolors, taking the watercolor tubes and putting them in like a gum container. You know, where you chew the gum, and I was like, what? What a great idea. And then use that, put it in an Altoid tin for on the go watercolor.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point, because at one point in the year, if you were not in the group of the entire nation ordering watercolors, trying to get either Krill or Prang, so we finally got some in that we've got for at-home stuff. But yeah, that was fun.
I'm still waiting for my pencil sets from General's pencil sets. They said I ordered them in July. They said they'd be here in August. Then they said September, and now it's November. So
Wow.
The one thing I really want right now that we ordered like in bulk is for my kids at home. I ordered 2-ounce condiment cups with lids. We ordered like 5,000 of them between all the art teachers. I'm like, I just want them so I can start sending my glaze home, because I know
Target has them.
they do have them, and I could actually go buy some at Sam's. Sam's has them in stock, but I'm like, I know that the minute I buy 2,500 at Sam's Club, my 5,000 are going to come in like the next day. I just know it, and I'm.
We ordered some little containers off Amazon, like little small like pill containers, and that's what we were putting in. So and using it for watercolors, and that worked pretty well. And then we hot glued the little condiment containers to like a piece of mat board.
Oh,
Hot glued them down for like painting class, and then we put in like yellow, blue, red, white. I think that was it, and then gesso. So that way it was like flat. So when we'd stick it in a Ziploc bag and zip it, it would kind of stand.
that's a good idea.
Yeah. And there's like 3 art teachers doing it factory style. Like we just had glue guns. We were like just gluing everything, and then one person is filling everything. It went pretty quick. So yeah.
I'm gonna have to do that for art appreciation, but right now I'm starting to have some of my at-home kids are sending stuff in. And so I told them that I'll have it fired next week, and they can email me what colors they want, and I'll send it back with them with glaze. But I ran out of, I just need to go get like at Target or Walmart, just a small pack. Like I said, we ordered 5,000 of them. I just.
Yeah. And they probably will
have them for the rest of your life.
buy it. Yeah. Yep. We just got colored pencils, I think Thursday.
Mhm.
I finally got some colored pencils. I had made kits, and I got down to like using stubs. I was like, you get 3 stubs of blue because that's what we have. And I finally got new ones this week. So
Yeah.
Well, I have found though, actually, because I had some of those condiment containers I've had in the class, the good thing is when my kids are mixing glaze, I used to have like just old plates or palette or like lids that I let them use for palettes, and we'd waste, of course, a lot of glaze.
Yeah.
So now they do paint some from the bottle, but they can put it in the little thing. So if they're mixing, well, I want to mix these two colors. Now they have it and they're storing it. So I think I'm gonna have less glaze waste in the long run. So if I do have 5 years worth of condiment containers, they'll be good.
That's what we were thinking too, even in painting class, by putting the paint in the condiment containers, they're wasting less. And they're being more careful that they don't contaminate their colors. Because before we'd use like a foam plate and that would be their palette. And they would just squeeze stuff onto it. And now they're not. So this has been one positive thing of COVID. So yeah.
All right. Well, very nice
Yeah.
chat with all of you.
Yeah, it was very good. Thank you guys for coming in and sharing all your ideas. So,
Thanks for all of the information that you gave me.
awesome. Good.
Natalie, I think I still have some glaze in those containers from your workshop.
I've got so much velvet underglaze right now. I don't know what happened, but it got double or triple ordered. So I have boxes. I'm like, that's good. So I need to send it home, but
That's funny.
if you can use it.
All right, I'm going to head out. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good to see you.